Hey, so this is really unusual, but I'm going to be doing a garden update. Nikki said, hey, maybe you should do one because, maybe if you can tell by all the plants behind me, but I also like plants. Now, as you can see, what I have behind me is a little different than what Nikki and Kate do. I know they have indoor plants, but they do more like gardening for like eating, like herbs, vegetables, things like that. And as some of you may know, I do not live in a house that I own. I rent. So sometimes that makes gardening kind of tricky. It is possible to do like patio gardens and like planter gardens where you can kind of do like small window boxes or small boxes outside of your house / apartment, whatever you live in. I'm very lucky where I do actually have a little bit of space to do some gardening. We did try to do fruits and vegetables, but that didn't really turn out last year. So part of that is because of the extremely poor quality of the soil where I currently live. It's really, really dense. It's full of clay. It's really bad for growing anything you want to eat. So we're trying to remedy that at the moment. But in the meantime, let's talk about the indoor plants. I have some outdoor plants, but I'll talk about them in a bit. Let's do the indoor plants first, because you can see all of these back here. I have some B-roll. I filmed of them earlier. And what we have is, this is mostly mine, but I do have a partner that also likes plants. So this isn't just me. It used to be. So I was living on my own, with roommates about a year ago, and I did have a space for my own indoor plants. So I could kind of go ballistic with as many indoor plants as I could reasonably fit in the large east-facing window that I had. Now we have windows on literally every cardinal direction. But here's a few problems, because unlike the other house I live in, this house is really old and the windows are really bad. They are single pane, completely uninsulated. They're just bad. So the problem we're having now is plants are doing really bad and or dying. So this is a problem I've never had. I've never had a house that has had single pane windows that are just this poorly insulated. The other thing is, this house is extremely old, so the house itself has very poor insulation. I don't even think it has the puffy kind of pink like stuff they put in between the walls. I don't even think it has that, because I've done a lot of hardware work in this house, and just no. It's not drywall. It's unlike any wall I've ever messed with, which makes itself very interesting and has posed some interesting challenges. Again, like the fact that I have lost a lot of plants this year, which I am not used to. And that is partially due to the fact that we have a room that is so poorly insulated, it got down to 35 degrees. I am not joking. We have a temperature gun for our reptiles. Now, this is so that we can check the heat pads to make sure that they are working correctly. The reptiles are fine. They get like heat pads that are about 85 to 90 degrees. So they're completely fine in this house. They are well taken care of. You can bet on that. They're not in the same room as our African violets. Now, some of you may know these plants, or some of you may not. Those of you that know them may kind of have this idea that they're not plants for young, hip people. They're not really hip plants. They are $3 Walmart plants that you get that come from Optimara, which is one of the bigger distributors, and they mostly make the violets that you see in superstores like Walmart or Fred Meyer or whatever chain grocery store, Safeway, etc. However, They have actually been in the United States since the late 1800s. They have been here for a long time. They didn't really get popular until central heating was a thing. You can see kind of where I'm going with this. So that allowed people to breed them and kind of make them into all these crazy colors and shapes. So you have really tiny ones that are like the size of a dime. You have ones that are so big they can get over like a feet wide. It's just huge. So we mostly have minis, and I have a few normal varieties. But they're all like named varieties because they have a lot of really cool ones. Ukraine and Russia have a few interesting ones. They kind of become fluffy, these fluffy ball flowers. But anyway, I wasn't a real huge fan of them before. Boyfriend really liked them. Now we have a bunch of them. We lost a number of them. I have a little clip of me flipping the cups that they used to be in because that's just a few that I used to have. We had a lot of them die because the room that they were in, yeah, like I said, got to, I think, at one point 35 degrees. The reason why that room gets like that is because it is one room it's the furthest off of the house. It has 3 walls exposed to the outside, and it does not have any like modern insulation installed, so it gets really cold. It also has 2 of these single pane windows. So I also don't keep the heater on in there because generally I'm not in there. Our heating bill is really expensive because of the way this house is built. So we're trying to really, keep lean. So keeping lean means we have accidentally lost a number of violets. And I didn't know it was that bad until we started to lose violets. I was like, what is happening? And then I did the little reptile check thing, and it's freezing in there, and they're all dying for that reason. So I managed to rescue a large proportion of them, but we also lost a lot, which really sucks. So hopefully when it becomes warm, we're going to be able to kind of recoup. We're hopefully going to be able to get some of the named varieties back, because I do have the tags still. Something we do is we try to keep the cups with the names or the name tags so we can still identify the violets later. And now we kind of have it's kind of worked out in our favor for that reason. Now we have the ability to go back and find them from a number of these online violet stores. I don't think they are shipping right now because of the temperatures, because they're so sensitive. So we'll have to wait until spring. Outdoor plants. We mostly do flowers. Right now we actually have a ton of bulbs that are starting to come up. We mulched everything before it got too cold, so everything should be fine. We have roses. Those are our ones that come back. I also have a few herb bushes. I have a rosemary that's nice and hardy. That hasn't had any problems. I have a lavender, hardy, not a problem. But the roses are being really naughty and bad, and they are trying to make little growth shoots, and we need to cut them back again in the spring, but we'll do that when it's not freezing. And I don't trust this state to not be freezing anytime soon, because last year we had a freak snowstorm in April, which has never happened in the many years I have lived here. Has never happened as far as my partner has lived here. And he's lived here his whole life. So this is it's unprecedented. A lot of weird, unprecedented weather phenomena has happened within this past few years. It's crazy. It's almost like there's something affecting it. I can't think of what, though, So I'm going to wait. A rule of thumb that my dad used to have was there was a mountain that used to be by his property, and he would say that whenever there was no more snow on that mountain, it was safe to finally do garden work. However, it's been kind of wishy-washy again because of how weird our season was last time. It was warm all the way until October, which is just so weird. So, it's anyone's guess at this point. But yeah, at the moment we're just prepping for spring. We have some new additions. You wouldn't really know because you haven't seen what the plant situation was like before. I mean, this is pretty similar to what it was before. We've just exchanged a few things. I sold a lot of plants last month. We got a lot of plants last month. Funny thing is, it's more like I lost plants, partner got plants, mostly because I got him some for his birthday. He got some for himself for his birthday. I got rid of plants because I actually have the most plants of the two of us. I really like aroids. I really like foliage plants. He's more of a fan of flowering plants. The big pink cyclamen, I think that's how it's pronounced back there, is actually mine. I've been wanting one of those for a while, and they're finally starting to pop up in stores since Valentine's Day is coming up. So everyone's like, ooh, it's pink. Ooh, it's, florist variety cyclamens. So that's fun. I've been wanting a frilly one, so that's fun. I got that thing over there pretty recently. That was a whole thing. I was hoping to just pick it up and they ended up shipping it, even though they're literally in the same city as me, but they were just like, no, we're going to ship it. Like, okay, whatever, fine. If I think it almost got to freezing one night when it was in shipment. They shipped it over the weekend for some reason, which is just a weird thing for someone to do with a plant. That was really expensive because I don't know if that is in shot at the moment, but that is a Monstera Tycon. So if you know what a Monstera Ty constellation is, you would know that they are trendy. They're one of those silly trendy plants that are kind of, I wouldn't say they're rare. They're rare mostly because they're really hard to propagate in, like, there's this growth medium. So if you know anything about the Costa Farms debacle, if any of you know about that, you know why I'm laughing. It was this whole mess with Costa Farms where they said they were going to promise to mass produce Tycons because they're more stable than the albos. Variegated plants are really trendy right now. They're really expensive. I would say it's an Instagram factor. So a lot of popular Instagram plants are kind of blowing up. A lot of them are these kind of silly stripy plants, which unfortunately I really like stripy plants. I like patterned plants. Partner does not really like stripy plants. He really likes dark solids. So we have this thing kind of going where we agree on like the thing, but not the way it looks. So we both like roses. We don't like the same type of roses. We both like indoor plants. We do not like the same indoor plants. We both like violets. I like different violets than him, etc., etc. It's like, it's a taste thing. So we end up getting a lot of the same thing. So that's why we have a lot of indoor plants, because he likes certain types. I like certain types. He likes like nepenthes and desert roses and things like that. I like philodendrons and anthuriums and things like that. Unfortunately, I don't even go on it very much, but I have the Instagram rot brain. So I just like the trendy plants, unfortunately. Except for violets. They're not trendy. I've tried to tell people about them, but everyone's like, ew, you mean those grandma plants? And it's like, I'll have you know, they're actually really awesome. They're really easy to propagate. If you've never tried them, I would say you should definitely try them. They're really easy. You can grow them in offices. They like fluorescent lights. They're freaks. They're I would say they're not cold hardy, but I mean, if you have them in a nice spot where they're not too cold and they're getting enough light, they'll just kind of keep trucking. They'll just keep trucking. It's really crazy. They can live for like 50 years. They're good plants. So I have calatheas. I have a few varieties of pothos. I have a ton of philodendrons. I actually used to have a regular monstera, just a Swiss cheese plant. But I got rid of it because it just got really big, and I kind of had to make a choice because, as you can see behind me, this is the spot for the plants. There's a heater actually right there, so they're all pretty comfortable. but it's also one of our only south-facing windows, which is, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. South-facing is the best direction. It gets the most light. So this is the best spot. Unfortunately, there are a ton of trees. So right now when it's sunny, it is really sunny. But during the summer when the trees have leaves, it gets almost completely blocked out, which really, really sucks. But right now it's really nice, actually. So this is probably, that's west. So we're getting southwest, which is really awesome. But we also have anthuriums. Partner has an anthurium back there, which is a king anthurium. I think it is the wide variety, which is not our favorite, but it's pretty chunky. It's got some good new growth on it. I have an anthurium crystallinum cross that I got from a reptile show for like $30, which was awesome. We have orchids. We have a whole ton of stuff. We got a Grand Duke jasmine. We have a jade tree. That's my partner's. He really likes like dry plants. We have a terrarium. We have isopods too. I can't show you chickens, but I could show you reptiles and isopods. You know what? I'll go get one. Unfortunately, it doesn't make any noise. I mean, they do, but I wouldn't want to intentionally make her upset. This is Calliope. She is Tremper albino with eclipse eyes. Whoop. Put her down so you can get a kind of better look at her. She's actually one of the ones that hasn't made that many noises before. The eclipse eyes mean that she doesn't have any color in them, so they're completely black. She does have this weird little spot, though, which is unusual, so that's kind of fun. But she's just, oh, sorry, don't think you could see her very well. She's very beautiful. She's very gorgeous. I got her not too far away from here. Here's her obligatory on-screen reptile. Maybe I'll show the terrariums, too. Those are a recent addition. I didn't really want one, but partner bought a bunch of isopods because I said if some isopods happen to fall in my lap, sure, I'll make a terrarium. And we did. So anyways, that is kind of it. Now, of course, if you're looking to support us, there are multiple ways you can do it. Super thanks, Bitcoin, Ko-fi, you name it. Look in our description. We'll have the other ways. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few of them. Check out our merch store, of course. I did those designs. That was me. You would like to purchase my shirt? You want to buy my shirts? You want to buy my shirts, please? Maybe? Maybe this will not end up in the main video and just end up at the end, but let's find out. Maybe Michael will feel particularly cruel and put that in. Scrolling on my right is the list of amazing charged up supporters, and shout outs go to our self-driving tier supporters: Mike Wada, Tony Moss, Linda Irish, Sean Tucker, Patrick Boyarsky, Paul Nelson, Chris Maxwell, Brian Newton, Michael Goad, Bennett Elder, Andrew Martin, Pedro Morja Pinheiro, Brophy Wolf, Chris and Michael Johnson, Tesla and the Gong, Dan Blair, Peter Dillinger, Gordon C., Stephen O'Donohue, Kyle Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Raging Fellows, Danny Hyde, Chris Centaur, and Jim Burness. Finally, out of this world, thanks to our Starman supporters: Robert Flannery, CPU Freak 101, Andrew Glenn, Anonymous Freak, JP Figureback, Joe Bresney, John Lyons, Rory Litwin, Kevin Burrowbridge, Dave Kitchen, Erin Hahn, Laura Reynolds, Marcel Ward, Matthew Drobnak, Paul Conway, Reggie Watts, Will Graylin, and Ian. Again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep evolving.